I mean, look at this thing. It's perfect. Hey guys, it's Vladi with HV Build, and today we're going to show you how to fabricate an undermount sink. Alright, first we start by measuring it out, doing our layout, and deciding where the sink goes. This one is pretty easy. So our cabinet's 24 inches, so we find the half point of that. Remark it. Alright, so this is our center point of the cabinet. Alright, the piece itself is a little bit bigger than that, but obviously it has the overhang of bullnose on the side because this is going to be the front and right hand bullnose. So the sink is going to be in the middle of the cabinet. Now we're going to mark out the rest of the sink. Most of the sinks come with a template, but on this one we're going to have to make our own. So we're just going to measure it out. We have about 12 inches because you want a good ½ inch of overlap on each side so you don't see the caulking joint underneath. So we'll measure this thing out. It's about 12 inches, should be fine, by 17. Alright, since our sink is 12 by 17, now we have to measure that out. Okay, this cabinet is not just a normal cabinet, it's just like a kitchen cabinet, which are wider. They're about 24 inches, 24 and a half. A bathroom cabinet is usually 20, 21 inches. So this one has a little bit more room. So we'll just center it. The reason why we use white tape is because you can't see on just a regular stone. Once we put the white tape, you can see your marks and you don't chip up the edges, because when you cut, it tends to chip, especially with this kind of stone. This is a marble, Carrara white, which is like the hardest stone to fabricate. So this makes it a lot easier. So if you can do this, you can do anything that's out there, including concrete. And now we're going to mark where our faucet hole goes. So usually, from the edge of the sink, we go about 2.5 inches. And we only need one hole for this one because it's a single hole. Now, if you need 3 holes, you mark accordingly, just depending on what kind of faucet you got. Alright guys, now there's 2 ways I do corners. Usually I just do them with a bit. This is an 1/3 bit, the same bit I use to drill out the faucet holes. That's something you're going to need to drill out the faucet holes. There's no other way around it. So that's something you're going to have to purchase. There's cheap ones and there's expensive ones. You get what you pay for. Let's put on our safety. Alright guys, let's get started. Let's pre-drill those holes. Now, let's switch to the blade. This is just a 4.5 inch blade. Alright, now let's break this piece out. See these ears that are left? If I would have smashed it down, what happens is these pieces, they just break down and they chip out underneath like a huge gouge. So that's not going to work. That's why we went up instead of smashing it down. Now let's sand this thing. Alright, now since we cut everything out, we got our rough cut. Now what we need to do is polish this out to make it look beautiful. Now what I use is a variable speed grinder. You can use just a regular grinder, but what will happen is it'll burn up the pads and it'll eat through them really quick. So that's why I use a variable speed grinder. Okay, you don't have to, but it's best. You got a Velcro pad. I use a 100, 400, 800 and 1500. I don't go any further than that because it's a light piece and it looks just as great. All these pads can be purchased online via Amazon or any other retailers. Okay, they're super simple. The better pads are a little bit more expensive. They do tend to work a lot better and they leave less residue. The cheaper pads tend to gunk up quicker, but all of that can be cleaned off with acetone. Let's get started. Alright guys, now that we got the 100 grit done, it looks so much nicer. I mean, just look at it. All right, guys, now that we got everything polished out, we went all the way up to 1500. Now we got to clean this thing up. There's a little bit of scuffs from the pad itself because it does have a little bit of plastic in it and it kind of stays on the surface. So we use a little bit of acetone to wipe that down. All right, guys, that's it. We're done. I mean, look at this thing. It's perfect. All right. And now all you got to do is install it on your vanity and you got a beautiful undermount sink. Let's get it installed. All right, guys, now that we're done fabricating the sink, we got everything installed. Everything looks great. Let me show you how it looks like. All right, guys, it looks perfect, and that's how you fabricate an undermount sink. Super easy, foolproof, no special tools needed. You can pretty much do this on any kind of surface. If you guys like this video, you like the content, please do subscribe and watch the rest of my stuff I got out there. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Recording.
Try not to get this nasty fence. All right, guys, now that we got 100 grit done, okay. How we fabricate an undermount sink. Hold on, turn it on.